Hello and welcome back to the box office, guys. I hope you all enjoyed your Super Bowl Sunday and had a great time, but it's now time for the fight game. And it's officially fight week, and about that potentially should have happened, let's say 10 years ago. Two rivals from the UK who were very well recognizable as the guys that they should have had a mega fight in their homeland went their separate routes instead of fighting each other. Both got their title shots. Some of them won, some of them lost. And as their careers went, they were young, they were old, and now, eventually, it was inevitable, they're fighting. I'm talking about Amir Khan versus Kell Brook. Keep in mind, this is a very interesting fight because there's a lot of question marks. But let's take a look at something really quick. We have Amir Khan, the Vegas underdog, at plus 135. But this is a highly anticipated fight. So what that means is, there's a lot of prop bets. Some of them, let me show you. Amir Khan winning by knockout is at a plus 330. Meaning you bet $100, you get 330 in return if he wins by knockout. Bovada has this thing that I like, and it splits the fight in half. Rounds 1 through 6, if Amir Khan were to win by knockout, he's going to get plus 800. Meaning you bet $100. If he wins in the first half of the fight, you get 800 in return. Same odds for rounds 7 through 12, plus 800. Meaning you bet $100. If he wins in round 7 through 12, you get 800 in return. So keep in mind when placing your bets, as Bovada does have Amir Khan at a plus 350. If you were to split that $100 bet, if you are betting on him winning by knockout, $50 on each half, you would actually get more in return if the bet were to hit. Kell Brook is at a minus 175, meaning you bet $175, and if he were to win, you get 100 in return. Him winning by knockout is at a plus 125. Rounds 1 through 6, plus 350. Rounds 7 through 12, plus 350. So just keep that in mind. It's something that you notice the more you're around the sportsbook. There's ways to get a little bit more bang for your buck, a little bit more value per pick. Going back in, let's take a look at Amir Khan, who is going to be coming in with a record of 34-5. 34 wins, 21 of those wins coming by the way of knockout. 5 losses, and 4 of those losses coming by the way of KO. So he's been out before. He's going to come in at 5'8.5", 5'8.5". His reach is going to be 71 inches. That's actually a 2-inch reach advantage compared to Kell Brook. His last 3 fights were against Billy Dib, where he won by TKO in the 4th round. Terrence Bud Crawford, which is a common recent opponent of Kell Brook and Khan. He lost that by TKO in the 6th round. And Samuel Vargas, unanimous decision, but that was back in 2018. Sammy Vargas is a good measuring stick to see where your conditioning's at. He's a rough and tough guy, a journeyman, who gives occasionally the younger fighters bang for their buck, you know? He gives them rounds. He's there to get hit. He has high tolerance, and he's there trying to roughen up the fighter, the younger fighter. So Amir Khan, that was a good victory, but take it like a grain of sand because that fight did happen in 2018, almost 4 years ago. So a couple things to note about Amir Khan, as he is older, and he's always been known as that speed guy, has fast hands, and he's always chinny, meaning he's been knocked out 4 times to be exact. Knocked down, more than that. We're going to shift our focus over to Kell Brook, where he, as I mentioned, minus 175. He's going to come in with a 39-3 record. 39 wins, 27 of those wins coming by the way of knockout. 3 losses, and all 3 losses by KO, unfortunately for him. He's going to come in at 5'9", 5'9", and his reach is going to be 69 inches. His last fight was against Bud Crawford. That was in November of 2020. He lost that fight by TKO in the 4th round. Mark DeLuca, he won that fight in the 7th round by KO. And Michael Zerafa, he won that by unanimous decision going the distance. I'm looking at it right now. Both of these fighters went the distance in 2018. So it's been quite some time before they both actually had to go the distance. The sportsbooks, may I add, they don't have the fight going the distance. Just throwing it out there. It is another prop bet. The fight will not go the distance. Is actually at a minus 220 around that. Now, let's take a look at the keys to victories for each fighter. So we have Amir Khan, the Vegas underdog. Well, key number one for Amir Khan is going to be speed kills. Because if you remember Prime Khan, and he's far from it now, but Prime Khan had that hand speed. He was so elusive to hit at the time. What you would do is he'd throw punches, you'd see him, and he'd catch you. I mean, that's what he did. He had fast hands. To an extent that he was in line for a Mayweather fight at one point. That speed, those fast hands got him places. So that's what you're going to want to do. If you're the faster fighter, you're going to want to go in there and throw those ones and twos. You're going to throw the 1-2-3 flurry, 1-2-3 inside and outside. Don't stay in there for him. Use your speed, your quickness. Get out the way, shoot your jabs to the head, jab the body, stick it to the body, and come up over the top with the right hand. Your speed is going to be key in this bout because Kell Brook, as an older fighter, well, you both are, you retain a little bit more of that speed. We've seen it in camp, and we really want to just see you use that explosiveness because at one point you were one of the most explosive fighters out there. Now, we'll talk more about that later in the video, but number two is going to be don't catch. And don't catch means don't catch any of Kell Brook's punches. Don't put yourself in that position to be in the line of fire. Yeah, you like to keep your hands up nice and tight from time to time, but don't do it. And the reason we say don't do it is because you have one thing that's haunted you your whole career, and that is you are a little chinny. Meaning you get hit and you go down, or you get hit and you're in ice skates. So by catching punches, you're getting awfully close to a punch landing on your chin. And that's the last thing that we want, Amir Khan. We don't want you to be getting hit, even if you're dictating the pace, winning the rounds, landing the cleaner punches, and you get hit and then you're on ice skates. So don't catch too many of Kell Brook's punches, or at all if possible. Use that speed, use that head movement, fight at that distance, fight off that jab, fight off that stick, stab the body. And number three is going to be footwork. Footwork, in and out, and give Kell Brook angles when you shoot. What you want to do is you want to use your speed, you want to use your elusiveness to throw punches and bunches and then angle out. Don't stay in front of this guy. Don't get caught or lured into a fight. You want to box. I would revert back to the Sammy Vargas, but that fight happened in 2018. So all I can really say and give you as far as advice goes is footwork. Fight in, flurry in, get out, and use angles. Throw punches at different angles, catch him, and keep him guessing with that speed. You do these three things, and you're going to be able to put yourself in a position to not just pull off the upset, but put yourself in a really good position to get him out of there. Brook, the keys for you are going to be press forward. And the reason we say press forward is because we know one thing about Khan also. Not just that he's chinny, but as fast as he starts, we know that he doesn't keep up the pace for 12 rounds. He's too explosive early on. He's too fast, and his punches are really crisp. It's a trait that he has, but he doesn't keep it up for the full 12 rounds. So you want to press forward, and you want to stay at that distance where he can't necessarily relax. You stay at that distance where if he relaxes, you can pop him with the jab. All right, keep him nice and tight all 12 rounds. Eventually, he's going to start gassing out. He's going to start losing some pop and the speed and those power. The speed and his power is going to start declining. Number two is going to be timing. And when I talk about timing, there's two things I want you to think. When he's fast and explosive, and if he's catching you, at some point you're going to want to shoot with him. If he shoots the 1-2, you want to shoot your 2 with him in hopes that his head is on the line and you can catch him at the same time that he's shooting. You want to anticipate his attack so that you can shoot off your own attack. But there's one more thing. If you just can't quite not time him, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take charge, and you're going to want to get your jab off first. But don't always just shoot that jab to shoot it when you're pressing forward. Throw a feint. If you can get him to overcommit after you throw a feint, and you can time him at the right time to land your punch, it's Amir Khan. And unfortunately, I hate saying this, but all it takes is one clean punch on Amir Khan so he can start ice skating out there. So press forward and then timing, whether it's the form of shooting with him or throwing your feints to bait him in to something, use that timing. And 3, throw straight punches. He's faster than you. So what you're going to want to do is throw 1s and 2s. Those 1s and 2s are going to get there a lot faster than any lead hook or any looping right hand. So throw straight punches so the timing can be there so that you can catch him in the middle before his wide punches get to you. Even if you get hit with a punch, if you were to jab him and catch him as he's throwing a punch, you're going to take a lot of steam off of that punch. And that's because his head's going to be snapping back and his punch is still going to follow through, but the momentum is going to be stopped at some point. So press forward because we know Khan gasses, timing because we just need to hit him once, and throw straight punches. Since he is faster, you're going to want to get your punches as efficiently to him as you can. You do these 3 things and you'll be able to put yourself in a good position. Now, as far as my pick for this bout, I honestly think that it's a 50-50 fight because they're both damaged goods. Anything can happen, and there's a reason why this bout is at a minus 200, 250 for it not to go the distance. These guys are older. They've gotten knocked out before plenty of times, knocked down. Don't get me started, but they always manage to be in exciting fights that are not just crowd pleasing, but they put themselves in a position to win and hit and get hit, unfortunately. So for this one, there's one reason I'm going to pick the fighter, and that's because I know he trained with Terrence Crawford, and that's Amir Khan. He's coming in at a plus 135 underdog, speed. He's one punch away from getting laid out and losing my pick. But he was training with Bud Crawford, and for someone to be humble enough to go to the once enemy and learn from him, to learn from the best in the game, pound for pound, one of the greatest right now, I think it says a lot for him learning as a fighter and growing as a fighter. So I'm picking Amir Khan solely based on what I know he's doing in training. Kell Brook has a chance. And as I mentioned before, as far as wagering, I wouldn't mind doing the first half Amir Khan, second half Kell Brook, because the tide is going to shift at some point if the fight starts going the distance. Amir Khan can only fight as explosive and as fast for so long. It's just the way he is. That's the way our bodies are. You let out so much energy, at some point you're going to start gassing out. We've seen it before, and we might see it again, depending on the fight plays out. But I got Amir Khan just because he's training for with Terrence Crawford for this bout, or trained, and he is chinny, and we never know. Kell Brook has an eye injury, so we'll see. We'll see. Anything can happen, but I don't expect it to go the distance. But never say never, because it's boxing, it's unpredictable, and we'll see how it goes, guys. There you have it, guys. That's this week's episode. Make sure that you guys tune in to my podcast, Mr. Box Office. It's on Apple and Spotify. Go ahead, follow, download. We're going to start doing something called the Wager Wednesday Talk, where I'm going to talk all the boxing bets, where there's value, where there's no value, and then we're going to do informative boxing news every Sunday or Monday. It's going to be posted 2 posts a week. Go ahead, give it a follow, download it, and I would really appreciate it, guys. Once again, also follow on Instagram at TheBoxxOfficee and Jonna175 so you can see more post boxing. We're going to be active this year. Take care, guys.